Hello, welcome, thumb up the video, share everywhere, comment in the comment section, please and thank you for clicking on the video. The theory for this video is that Father Khatri and Abby, after death, are equivalent to story walkers. The same way that Julie became a story walker and was able to throw Boyd the rope. And in a previous video, I mentioned that I believe that Tabitha was story walking when she was in the Lighthouse, season 1, episode 9. I think that the same thing that Julie became when she was separated from her body, and the same thing that Tabitha became when she was separated from her body in the dream sequence that we saw, is the same thing that Father Khatri and Abby are. Thank you for clicking on the video. I really appreciate it. Thank you to all the channel members. I appreciate it. This is the 4 instances that I'm speaking of. So we have, just to kind of give you a reminder, if you haven't seen any videos on my channel or haven't been here in a while, or you forgot about the previous video that I did, this is Tabitha, episode 9 of season 1, navigating the tower or the lighthouse. What I showed on the video is that Tabitha picked up the juggling ball, she picked up the finger puppets, and she picked up the book. And then when she went to the lighthouse, season 2, episode 10, those objects were not there, and the ambulance, fire truck, cards were arranged differently, and we didn't even see the bottle. Tabitha knocking over the bottle also prevented it from being where she saw all of the objects clustered together. Now, this could be a sign that Eloise is perhaps at the lighthouse and she's a child, just like Victor is, because Victor went into Fromville at age 10 and he hasn't really grown up and actually moved past being childlike. So this all could be Eloise playing with stuff. What she did, while I believe that she was story walking, affected the Lighthouse season 2, episode 10. And then we have Father Khatri. This is the spirit version of Father Khatri. And we're going to watch a video where the spirit form of Father Khatri, or story walking form for this video, for this theory, we'll just refer to him as spirit form Father Khatri. Same thing with Abby, that the spirit forms, not Abby, but Father Khatri actually picked up one of the chess pieces. And I'm going to show you why I believe that it is not an illusion or a hallucination in a moment. And so Abby was speaking with Boyd, and after I show you what I'm going to show you with Father Khatri, the spirits Father Khatri and Abby, this whole time, they could have actually physically interacted with Boyd, even touched him, but chose not to. So Father Khatri's spirit form was in season 3, episode 10, when, spoiler alert, hopefully you've seen all 3 seasons of the show From, and this is not like you watched a little bit of season 1 and clicking on this video, but Father Khatri was in the room when Boyd was interrogating Elgin. And Father Khatri, the spirit form of him, did not interfere with Boyd as far as physically stopping him. The spirit Father Khatri, spirit Abby, neither one of them have actually physically touched Boyd or physically tried to stop him or even helped him. But in this theory, I believe they can actually do so, and I'll show you in a minute. And so the lower right here is spirit form of Julie, story walking from the future. She failed to save her dad. I think season 4, we're going to get the rest of that scene, and it may even show Julie after the man in the yellow suit leaves. Maybe she orchestrates getting Jim to town so that Christy and Marielle can perhaps save his life. I think it's possible. Because Julie said, I think this is where it happens, but not really mentioning that this is where Jim is deceased. So it happening could be just him having his throat ripped out. And having his throat ripped out makes it to where it's hard for him to communicate. And maybe he's in a coma for a long time. Maybe she was trying to prevent that. We don't know. Before moving on with the video, I'd like to take a moment to thank the sponsors for today's video. Is really one sponsor. It's Amanda Kenny 4997. She's amazing. Always supporting, always donating. I really appreciate it. And also another super thanks and she's outstanding. So she is the sponsor for today's video. She's awesome. She's amazing. She's the #1 family supporter. Give thanks to her and other people who donate, because you definitely keep the doors open around here.
You're out here doing the damn thing. Yeah.
Thank you, Amanda Kenny 4997, for both of your super thanks. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
What was that thing Ellis said?
This is from season 2, episode 4. As Boyd is about to leave room, this is the first time Father Khatri, Spirit Father Khatri, made contact with Boyd. I think the writers, maybe director, maybe both, maybe even the creators, they made it a point for Father Khatri to physically pick up a chess piece. So it's one thing for him to sit down in the chair. It's one thing for him to get up and walk around, but him physically interacting with the environment, in my opinion, means that he is physically there, and this is not a hallucination. This is not a vision. And so the scene continues with Father Khatri picking up the chess piece. Now you might say, well, maybe Boyd imagined him picking up a chess piece, similar to how Jade, when seeing Tom had a mug with him that he was cleaning and was cleaning it with the rag. So I think that's different, because Tom, when in the middle of the forest, while Jade was out there with the bottle tree, Tom was out there with the beer glass. It just seemed out of place, because Tom appeared with it, but didn't get it from the actual environment. So if Tom would have picked up a bottle from the ground, that argument that what Tom is being Jade's hallucination could be the same thing that Father Khatri is. But the fact that Father Khatri picked up an object that was on the table, a chess piece, to me means that this spirit, Father Khatri, is existing in this plane of existence and is actually in the real world and not in Boyd's head. Father Khatri looks at the chess piece and then holds the chess piece up. It's a blink and you miss it. The chess piece has a hint of red on it, because this chess piece belonged to Kenny's dad. Kenny's dad put his blood on it when he passed away season 1. I think that detail wouldn't be on the chess piece, as far as the blood from Kenny's dad, if Boyd was just hallucinating it. Because you could say, well, maybe Boyd saw the blood and that's why it's a part of the hallucination or the vision. I just think that if Father Khatri picking up an object was all in Boyd's head, the object, in my opinion, would just be a regular chess piece. If Boyd is imagining Father Khatri touching something, it wouldn't have the detail of blood on it. And Boyd, the character, wouldn't be looking at it and also talking to Father Khatri. I don't think Father Khatri would be looking at it and talking to Boyd at the same time. I think that this is a sign from the writers, from the director, maybe the creators, letting us, the viewer, know that this spirit, Father Khatri, is not a hallucination, not a vision, but an actual entity that is in Fromville, can pop in and out at will, because Spirit Father Khatri and maybe even Spirit Abby, they are story walking. Like, story walking may be achieved by separating the spirit from the body. And now, because you're on a different plane of existence, time and space no longer applies to you. And that's why Tabitha, in this theory, as a spirit form, story walker, can interact with the environment and remove stuff from the regular real world, real timeline. And Father Khatri, Spirit Father Khatri, maybe even Abby, can do the same thing as well. So if this is the case, this would be a game changer, because the man in the yellow suit may also be a spirit form when we see him attacking Jim. Spirit Abby and Spirit Father Khatri can actually help the townspeople attack and do things to the creatures, maybe even explore without the risk of being harmed. However, this is season 2 as far as where the scene comes from. And we also had Abby season 2 and even Father Khatri season 3. If they wanted to help, they would. If Father Khatri wanted to really help Boyd versus having a philosophical conversation, he would have, especially season 3. The fact that Spirit Father Khatri did not stop Boyd and has not stopped Boyd and has not thwarted Boyd's plans, but kind of talked him out of it. I think that this Spirit Father Khatri can be reasoned with and perhaps swayed to the side of the good guys, or they can continue to be passive observers that can interact with objects on the show, but choose to be passive. And I think this also applies to the ghoulish children, ghastly children, in that the children that we see on the show, that's their spirit form or story walker form that we see, and that's how they're able to interact with the environment and actually interact with Tabitha and Jade. Their bodies, I believe, are in the crypt in the cave. One key to the show may be separating one's spirit form from their body to be able to do things to perhaps accomplish a task. You might have to go into your spirit form to see the evils in the forest that Martin talked about when Boyd found Martin in the lair, that there's nightmares in the forest, and maybe the reason why they haven't seen the nightmares is because to see the nightmares, you got to go into like a spirit form, then you can actually observe them and see them. Kind of like the footsteps on top of the cabin at the settlement when Kenny and company were inside of the cabin at night. They had the talisman stone up and they heard the footsteps on top of the cabin. Maybe they won't be able to see what it is until they go to spirit form. And that spirit form may have been what the boy in white wanted Christopher to somehow achieve and then go through the tree to save the children. Maybe you can't save the children and get rid of the trap of Fromville unless you go in your spirit form, go through the faraway tree and interact with stuff that may be on a different plane of existence. So what do you think? Let me know in the comment section your thoughts. Thumbs up the video, share your social media. Thanks for watching. Go forth, do great things, and I'm out. Peace.